Welcome everybody to the Scale Up Show. This is your host, Ryan Staley, and I have a special guest with me back for part two, Laurent Charpentier. I'll get it right one of these days, man, who
No
is
worries.
the CEO of Use. Welcome. Happy to have you on the show, man.
Yeah, happy to be back. It's a pleasure.
I guess back, not just be on the show, but back. So did not listen to episode one. I think one of the really cool things that Laurent has done was his journey from basically starting and growing the North American presence for Use. And now he's the global CEO. I think super cool story there. The other thing that we talked about is AI and what's happening to the finance space as it relates to AI, as well as automation. So automation, AI, accounting, how to become a CEO, any of those you missed or didn't get a chance to check out, go back and listen to that. We're going to build on it today. We're going to talk about a couple different topics today, right? And I want to start off with something that you mentioned that I think has become more and more problematic is more about AI as it relates to fraud detection. And then we're going to get into some AI use cases that you like, enjoy, and see working well. So let's talk about the fraud protection piece first. I guess, like, how do you leverage AI for fraud protection, and like, what's a general strategy for that? Because I will tell you something after you give me a response that I am seeing multiple clients that work with CISOs and CIOs. And there's one thing that got their attention and opened a 93% open rate on emails from a subject line as it relates to this. Talk to me, man. Walk me through it. What's going on?
Yeah, I mean, the idea is as we build upon the backbone of the purchase to payment automation, which already embeds a lot of AI, that first level of process automation gives you a lot of control over your spend, about who is doing what, when. But then as you get more and more data and more accuracy through that process, we can build more technology thanks to AI around fraud and anomalies. There are some very cool things that we've started doing. For example, understanding based on your historical invoices is a new incoming invoice having an atypical amount versus its past invoices for that vendor. And then we're building on top of that on other anomaly detection around that. One thing that's very cool too is detect forgeries. You know, if you think about a lot of documents today are electronically generated, so it's fairly easy today to alter a document, whether you're using Photoshop or other different tools, or even some of the AI tools out there. So there is also technology in our platform to try to find things that have been forged on a document and then warn you of potential suspicions or risk there. So those are very cool use cases that we've launched into the product and that we're going to continue to build on as the AI capabilities grow and that we have more ways to double check that data and past historical invoices from your vendors. So very cool stuff.
That is pretty cool. And here's a question for you. So are there capabilities within that are really strong for you now today that weren't 12 months ago or 6 months ago based on how fast the models have developed?
Yeah, I think it's really the amount of data that you can consume, and then the idea of the feedback loop that can become more and more efficient as some suspicions or risks of fraud are detected. For example, around the forgery part, you can build pretty large models pretty quickly around that. So that's very promising for the future of those features and the benefits that hopefully will create in terms of the security it brings to our customer.
Okay. That makes sense. So I'll tell you the subject of the email that I had said had 93% open rate. I won't tell you what client it was, but it's for a client that works with CISOs and CIOs, right? And one of the things, and I can't remember the exact verbatim, but it was basically like vulnerability, like cybersecurity vulnerability due to ChatGPT, right? Was like the subject line or something related to that. And it was directly related to attacks, fraud, other areas as it relates to the large language models being used in the wrong way. So
interesting.
Anyways, food for thought.
Yeah, might take that as a test for my next email.
Yeah, but share that with your sales team. So outside of that, let's shift gears a little bit. I would love to hear for you personally, like as a CEO, like how you leverage AI tools. Like which models do you like? What tools and use cases do you think are helpful? And then like, let's start there.
Yeah, no, absolutely. I mean, the first one that we've been using for many years now is our own product, right? We've automated of course, our back office with our purchase to pay process. But to expand beyond that internally as we're growing and scaling the business, the first use cases that we've seen is more around the sales side. So on our North American sales team, we've been using tools that embed AI. It can help record the calls, analyze the calls, give some like coaching insights, things like this that we started using. And I think a lot of the tools have now evolved. So we're kind of, exploring round two of are we still using the right tool or not? But there is some great stuff that is done out there on, the coaching part, thanks to analyzing the sales calls. Another part that I think is very interesting and that is even broader, and a lot of the tools even around the Microsoft Teams or things like this today are starting to embed that is, for our entire team to get their own meetings summarized and things like this. So we're also exploring that right now. It's not something we've done yet, but we think that could be creating good gains for our efficiency drawing.
Yeah. Yeah. I think, well, and we talked about this a little bit too. So, have you structured anything on the Copilot side because you have a pretty large revenue organization, right? So have you systemized any kind of like integration into using, is it Copilot? Does everybody have Copilot? If you said Microsoft, does everybody have Copilot or like?
That's one of the options we're deeply exploring right now because it's very well obviously embedded into our ecosystem between North America and the EMEA team. So yeah, that's
one option.
One we may systematize.
Okay.
I mean, as part of our CRM tool as well. I mean, we're a Salesforce shop. There is a lot of things that are also coming up around agents actually that we're exploring as well, to bring more intelligence to our go-to-market and sales process.
What's like at this single point in time, right? We're early December, like anything that you're blown away, impressed with across those, or do you still think it's kind of early for some of that tech?
No, I'm always impressed as when we play with those and you play on like one or two quick use cases. The bigger question, and this is true for not only our internal use, but this is always the question we ask ourselves when we're doing something on the product side is how is it going to scale? On a larger scale, are we going to see the same results as the two tests we've just done right now, right? So this is always the bigger question behind that and why we will be doing, whether it's on our product side when we launch something, doing testing and sampling at a larger volume, or doing pilots or things like this at a larger scale on those as well.
Okay, that makes sense.
Make sure we get the benefit rate out of it.
Yeah, it's really interesting. So like, because I've helped companies deploy that across Copilot and ChatGPT, and one of the things is like that I kind of discovered, and this wasn't what I expected, is that in order for people to make that change, there has to be like an emotional component infused in there. And so like kind of then if you're listening, this might be a writer downer, but the secret formula is like find a way to give people back 10 hours a week by eliminating the crap work that they don't want to do, even if it's only like 4 or 5 things. You'll have their attention, have them share their wins with the whole org. And then what that starts to do is create like a viral effect of use cases and people wanting to like leverage what their coworkers are doing, right? So part of the competitive thing, part of the other area. And then this is the part that I didn't expect. One of the things that I've got from some of the folks I've worked at is like, I thought they'd be excited about like the time savings or the, like I've seen people improve conversions. Like I had one of the most junior reps close the largest deal that that the company's ever closed, right? By leveraging AI, like ChatGPT as well as to help them. The part that I didn't expect, and they were happy with those results, don't get me wrong. But the part that I didn't get is that they were so excited about the engagement that their team had, right? Just because they felt like invested in. And have you seen that? Like, I know you've done a lot on the product team. Has your product team responded like that with the tools that you've given them at all?
Yeah. No, there's good response, and we're even looking, and this is another use case that just popped into my mind, like a large language model internally with our own rags for like our documentation. So whether it's technical documentation or help with like training on onboarding, we've also played with this and started to build some use cases around this. So yeah, there is usually good a very good engagement because it's new. People are excited about about that and the fact that it can help them in their day to day. The thing that I've seen on some of the tools that are more like that you buy is more the other side, which is our legal department asking, okay, what happens to the data, right? Where does the data goes?
Mm-hmm.
What about GDPR, things like this? So it's a valid question, and we're also cautious about that as we're exploring tools. But if you can do your own model with your own rags, then you don't have this problem. You know that the data stays within your walls, and you get some of the capabilities around the LLM. So
That's so cool. So what did you use an open source model for that, or how did you build your own rag?
Yeah. Our data science team used an open source model and, got their hands dirty and started playing with this, which back to my earlier point is also part of, how we want to build AI, right? We want to build it so that it's going to be as efficient as possible in solving our use cases, our customers' use cases for the best automation, the best value.
Are you comfortable? Because I'm just curious, and if you're not, that's okay. Are you comfortable sharing what open model you leverage for it?
I would have to check because I know we benchmarked 2 or 3 different ones, so I don't want to give the wrong name, but it's one of the 30 common ones out there, I think.
Okay.
That then we took into our own hands, but yeah, I'm
awesome.
I'm not the best expert on this anymore. I need more time to play with this. Go back to my days of coding stuff.
I mean, there's so much stuff happening right now, and it's happening so fast. So you could think things that were great last week are not as good this week, right? Or something past that. I mean, I could attest, like, this is my business to know what's going on with it, and I still get tired trying to keep up with everything, right? So if it's not your full time, it's a lot different. I guess before we end, one thing I'd like to ask you is just like, if you were starting all over again, knowing everything that you know now, right? Now you've been a CEO already. You built up a whole group for North America. Like, what kind of business would you start, and then, like, what would it be focused on, right? If you had to start all over today.
That's a great question. I haven't thought about this one.
And shame on me, I didn't prep you on this either. That's why.
No, that's hard. I mean, I think given the excitement and some of the cool things that can be done with AI technology today, this would definitely be my thought right now is that this would definitely be a software business with leveraging AI. But for what use case? Will it still be in finance? Would there be something else cool to automate or another cool problem to solve? That I don't have the answer to that today.
Makes sense, man. All right. Well, we're up on time again. Where can people find you? Where can they find more about you and use?
So we're on www.getuse.com. You can find us there. That's our website. A lot of great content out there. Also, the next events or trade shows that we're going to be attending, and of course, a way to contact us there as well. So please check us out, and hopefully we'll talk.
And GetYouz is IOOZ, just so you know.
GETYOOZ.
Yeah, GetYOOZ.com. All right. Well, Laurent, it was awesome having you on again, man. This is a blast. Thanks for being on.
My pleasure.
Really appreciate it. And thank you for joining me as well. And we will see you on the next episode.